I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Village Board for April 11th, 2017. Can you please join us for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God's neat, let's meet.
Village Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Trustee Majeski.
Here.
Trustee Wessler.
Here,
Trustee Carmona.
Here.
Trustee Jaworska.
Here.
Trustee O'Connell.
Here.
And Trustee DeSimone.
Here.
That's 7. We have a quorum.
We open this evening.
6.
We open this evening with a presentation on the NICOR Invest in Illinois program. Mr. Evans, will you present information relative to this program, please?
I'm happy to defer this to Public Works Director Joe Karachi. And Joe Karachi will probably hand this off quickly.
I'm going to hand it off as quickly as I can, but I know she's really trying to get her presentation up on the computer, which may not happen here. I have Karen Gustafson from NICOR. She's our External Affairs Manager for the village, wanting to talk really briefly, about the Invest in Illinois project, which is starting up here in Bensonville. So I'm going to turn it over to Karen.
Do I speak here? Okay, sorry about that. Thank you for the introduction. I am Karen Gustafson. I'm the Manager for Community Relations and Economic Development. And as of 2014, late 2014, we started a program called Investing in Illinois. And Investing in Illinois is a program that allows for us to upgrade our infrastructure, by replacing older pipes and replacing it with newer PE, which is polyurethane, which is the more preferred type of pipe to use under the ground. It's safer, more reliable. So we have been able to do this through statute, and I'm sorry because I don't have my presentation, but through a statute from the state of Illinois that allows us to do this project, and it shows up on every single customer's bill for NICOR gas. So there are 2.2 million customers. So that cost of upgrading the infrastructure is spread out to all the customers. So the fact that we are coming into Bensonville and doing some upgrading to your infrastructure for your gas lines to make it safer and more reliable is kind of a nice thing, because no matter if we're doing work in your town or if we're not doing work in your town, it's still going to show up as a bill, and it's called Investing in Illinois, and it's on everybody's bill. But it's a really positive program, and it's going to be a part of NICOR Gas for the next 7 years upcoming, and we're working at all different locations across the state within the NICOR Gas footprint. Does that make sense, or does anybody have any questions about that? Or
Can you touch on the impact to the community, such as the digging and what the impact they can expect, so homeowners will know what's happening outside of their properties?
yeah, do you want to? So Scott Weil, who is the superintendent for this project, is here, and he can talk about that a little bit.
Thanks, Karen. Good evening. The impact, we have 2 projects in Bensonville, one that's already been approved and to begin construction, and another one that's going to be going on later in the summertime. Excuse me. The impact is, the first project's about almost 26,000 feet of infrastructure underground being replaced. Within that area, any service line that is existing that's touching the old service will be replaced with a new service line up to each resident, each business. We will be updating all the facilities with the aforementioned plastic polyurethane tubing. We'll have a small hole dug in the parkway, another small hole possibly up by the house for the entrance and the exit point of a new pipe being installed, as well as work within the parkway area. We have goals to have the parkways as well as the private properties brought back and restored within about a 21 to 35 day period based on work that we have to do. Now there's some areas that we do have to open up the ground, close it back up and reopen it before it'll be restored fully, but during that period of time there'll be a temporary patch or screening and straw on top of the areas that are safe. My supervisor, Dirk, who's right in front of me, he's the field supervisor for the job. and we'll have a contractor known as KS Energy on site. They'll have hard hats, vests, strobe lights, signs, following identification, following every thing that we need to. We've worked closely with Joe and his group on getting the permit aspect squared away and out the door. So you'll see us in the community, basically north of White Pines Golf Course up to just south of
Wood
is
Avenue.
that, yeah. And our second project is more or less right in the area here, but that hasn't been approved yet because it's still in the design phase. So
how long between the disconnect to reconnect is that period got to be?
well, the disconnect and the reconnect, actually, they go parallel. So nobody will be without gas service while we're installing our gas pipe. The only time that you'll be needed to be restarted at your home is when we transfer you from the old pipe onto the new pipe, and that's done on a appointment basis. Our contractor makes appointments with each customer or resident, and more or less on your schedule. It's not everything 8 to 4:30. It's we need to stay late, start early, work a Saturday. We take care of things as we need to.
And I know it's always important for residents. Is there a need for your workers to ever enter a private residence?
Yes, to restart the pilot lights on any, restart the pilot lights and check for hazards on any one of your appliances inside the house. That would be done at the time of disconnect and transferring from the old service line to the new service line.
So we just ask that all residents verify the badges of the employees entering houses.
Correct.
Do we have any indoor, inside
Infras-
meters that may have to be moved outside, because then you would need to go into the houses for
Right,
that?
right. Normally, it's our infrastructure's already outside. It's just a matter of transferring things outside and going into restart. There are some instances in this area where all the infrastructure is inside. We will have to then take our piping, cross-tie the pipe together and move our infrastructure to the outside wall of that same area, and then restart the appliances. And that's all taken care of. There's no cost to the customer for any of this. It's all part of our daily work activities.
That's all I have. Does the board have any questions? Do residents have any questions for NICOR while they're here? Mrs. Luby?
I have a question. Jefferson is gas line, if I'm not mistaken. Are you going to be working on Jefferson?
There is a section off of Jefferson that we are working on. I don't have the plans right in front of me. That's part of the
Presentation that we don't have.
The missing presentation.
We are going to be just west of your house.
Don't tell me it's in front of my house.
We're going to be just west of your house.
Can I just add just one more thing? And that is that letters are sent out to all the residents notifying them that we're going to be starting work. If we do need to make appointments with them, Dirk and his contractor will make sure that they touch bases with the residents and also leave, I think he brought an example of a door tag with him that would be left at a resident's house if there's some reason for them to get in touch with us or make an appointment.
Great.
So it looks similar to this.
Okay. Ms. Gustafson, would you be able to email your presentation to Mr. Karachi, and then we'll make sure to get it on the village website to
I will.
inform our residents?
Absolutely do that.
Wonderful. Well, we appreciate your investment in the community, and we look forward to working with you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight, too.
Thanks for dropping by.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll host public comment. We will now move to the public comment. Is there anyone who would like to address the board? If so, please approach the podium and state your name.
We have Marvin White.
Hello, good afternoon. I have a issue that's going on. I live in the Fairway Green, and you have to excuse me. I have some surgery on my throat, so I strain a little when I talk. But
We can hear you.
I live in a Fairway Green apartment complex, and which is right in the center of the Fairway Green golf course. I've had several windows broken out by golf balls, and when I go to the golf course and express my issue, they tell me there's nothing they can do about it, that it's the apartment complex's issue. When I go to the apartment complex, they tell me it's the golf course's issue. I've spoken with the general manager, Mr. Michael Huber at White Pines, and he said that he would get with the board and never got back to me. Over the weekend, I just had another window broken out, and I know this is golf season. There's no nets, there's nothing. I'm having windows broken out just about every weekend, and I'm at a loss as to what to do about this.
I can step in on that. We understand your concerns. The golf course is run by the Bensonville Park District. They're a partner of ours, but they're a separate organization. If we can get your contact information, we'll make sure that someone from the Bensonville Park District will get in touch with you.
Okay, because like I said, over the weekend, just 2 days ago, I had another window broken out. And I
Todd-
can't keep replacing windows every
Todd,
weekend.
can you get his contact information for us? All right. Todd Finner from our Recreation Department will come over and take your contact information, and we'll pass it along to, we have some representatives of the Park District here. We'll make sure that that gets handled and someone gets in touch with you.
Thank you so much.
Mr. Johnson, is that a fair assessment? Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other public comment?
No, sir.
This will conclude our public comment. Thank you. Move on to the approval of the minutes for the March 28th, 2017 Village Board meeting.
You have a motion?
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion on the minutes? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. The next item of business is to approve the warrant for April 11th, 2017 in the amount of $787,790. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion on this warrant? Madam Clerk, can I have a roll, please?
Trustee O'Connell?
Yes.
Trustee Wessler?
Yes.
Trustee Majeski?
Yes.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Jaworska?
Yes.
And Trustee DeSimone.
Yes.
That's 6. The motion carries.
The motion carries and the warrant will be approved. Consent agenda, consideration of an omnibus. We have no items on the consent agenda at this time. Reports for standing committees. Community and Economic Development Committee, we have 2. The first report is relative to an ordinance approving a sign variance for the applicant located at Green Street Grill, located at 120 West Green Street in Bensonville, Illinois. Is there a motion to adopt this ordinance?
I'll make the motion.
Do I- There being a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
I'll step in on this one. Usually we go through a CDC process, which goes to committee, which comes back to the board. It's a good problem to have tonight that 120 West Green is moving so quickly on their project that we've had to expedite our processes on their behalf. This is a sign variance. Scott, do you want to talk quickly about what the sign's going to look like?
Yes, sir, thank you.
Why it needs a variance?
There's several different signs. The most notable would be the freestanding sign that is, for all practical purposes, replacing the older freestanding sign right on the corner. It'll be 9 feet tall and 4 by 4. So that needs a variance for that, because it's a freestanding pole, monument sign, I'll call it. And then on the turret on the building, they have the circular, you can see it in your packet, the circular Green Street Grill logos on the 3 sides of the turret, as well as one more sign, excuse me, on the eastern facade in the beer garden area. So those require variances for that. The variances for the number of those signs, 4 as opposed to 2, but the overall size is less than the maximum.
Okay.
Does the board have any questions? There is a representative from 120 West Green in the audience tonight, Mr. Dan Bradley.
Dan?
Seeing no comments from the board, and Dan, do you have any comments for us?
No, we'll be opening soon.
Okay, well, that's all that matters, right?
Yay.
May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee DeSimone.
Yes.
Trustee Jaworska.
Yes.
Trustee Carmona.
Yes.
Trustee Majeski.
Yes.
Trustee Wessler.
Yes.
And Trustee O'Connell.
Yes.
That's 6. The motion carries.
The final report this evening concerns a resolution authorizing the execution of a contract with McDonough Demolition for the demolition of the house at 236 South Center Street in the not-to-exceed amount of $33,000. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. Viger, would you like to explain why this is on tonight's agenda and what the project entails?
This is a single-family house at 236 South Center. It has been vacant for a number of years, and it meets the threshold now of, quote, open and abandoned, which is the legal threshold for the village to take action. I should say that Ron Herf from our staff has been working since last year with the owner of this property several times a week, quite frankly. We've had folks in town that wanted to buy the property. We have folks in town that want to fix it up. The owner is non-responsive. Bond Dixon Conaway has gone to court to get the approval for the village to demolish this building, this home. Excuse me. We did open bids on the 3rd. There were 5 bidders. The lowest bid did not submit a bid bond, so we go to the second lowest bidder, which is McDonough Construction from Chicago. They've done 3. They've done 3 other single-family demolitions for the village in the last 3-4 years. We qualified, and we recommend approval.
Generally speaking, we don't like to demolish houses. We like to see renovations and repairs made to those houses. This has just come to the end of this house's lifespan, and so we're moving forward with demolition. Scott, is this eligible for abandoned properties program grant money?
Yes, sir, I believe it is.
So we received a grant for $75,000 from the state of Illinois to demolish abandoned and open houses. This property would qualify under that. We would seek reimbursement.
I just have one question. Scott, you're not going to demolish this until it's legally available to do so, right? Because, as you said, you're in court seeking. You're not going to put the cart in front of the horse.
I would defer to Ms. Dixon. I believe we've got that court order already, which is why we went out to bid.
It's my understanding it is ready to be demolished.
Yeah.
We'll
So-
double check, dot our i's and cross our t's.
If you were working with the homeowner, can we recoup some of the money from the homeowner? If he's got an investment in it and we're spending $33,000 to demolish it, it seems to me that that homeowner should be responsible for it since he's been unreceptive, and would we be able to put a lien against the property against the homeowner then?
We can, and then we will serve to extinguish that lien through grant reimbursement of $75,000.
Okay.
Or the $33,000 is eligible. So the village will not be expending any funds.
Okay.
Any other questions? Clerk, will you please call a roll?
Yes, sir. Trustee O'Connell?
Yes.
Trustee Wessler?
Yes.
Trustee Majeski?
Yes.
Trustee Carmona?
Yes.
Trustee Jaworska?
Yes.
And Trustee DeSimone?
Yes.
That's 6, the motion carries.
At this time, there is no chairman remarks, so we're going to move on to the village manager's report. Village Manager Summers, would you like to introduce our 2 new Public Works employees?
I would like to introduce our 2 new Public Works employees. They are both in the audience tonight. Mr. Jason Ackerlund and Ryan Johnson, can you please acknowledge yourself? And I'll hand it off to Joe to make the introductions about what these gentlemen will be serving the village.
Sure. First, Jason, who is there, started with us back as a Tech 1 horticulturist in our Public Works Department on February 20th. Jason brings in an associate's degree in ornamental horticulture from COD. He has certifications in garden center and nursery management and landscape design and construction. We're putting him right to work to do some design of our entranceways, our flower pots, our baskets and things like that. So he's already got some pretty good ideas drawn up, and we're looking at ordering some materials for a post-Mother's Day installation. Jason comes with almost 10 years experience working for Berthold's Garden Center in Elk Grove Village. He is an Elk Grove Village resident. We're excited to have him. He enjoys rebuilding muscle cars in his spare time with his dad. And again, he's been a great addition so far since February. So welcome to Jason. And then next would be Ryan. Ryan Johnson is a technician 1 in our wastewater treatment plant. Ryan's learning the ropes of our new wastewater treatment plant. He comes to us with an associate's degree at the Joliet Junior College. He's also just shy of his bachelor's degree in environmental sciences at Northern Illinois. Ryan is really going to be helping us with a lot of analyticals in our lab over at the wastewater treatment plant and being able to take the data and implement it for us and be able to look at that. Ryan's currently lives in Plainfield, but I know he is actively looking for a closer place to live. And in his spare time, he likes to fish and hike. So welcome to Ryan.
Thank you, guys. Welcome aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome.
Mr. Summers, do you have a report relative to the resolution approving the license agreement with the Chicago Department of Aviation for the installation of a permanent noise monitor at the site Mohawk Park in collaboration with the Bensenville School District 2?
Yes, I am excited about this one because I know it's been a long time village project. I mean, I've got notes going back years and years about putting the permanent noise monitor at Mohawk Park. As we all know, that park is owned by School District 2. The agreement was initially to be between the school district as well as the Chicago Department of Aviation to make the installation. The village didn't have much responsibility or roles in there. in those negotiations between those two entities, they came to an impasse on Section 8 of the agreement, the protection clause. Basically, CDA wanted wanted the school district to take all reasonable precautions to protect that site from graffiti, vandalism. Obviously, school districts are not equipped to take all reasonable steps. So Chicago Department of Aviation approached the village, and we said, you know what, we do have a full-time qualified professional police department who can take reasonable steps. So we negotiated Section 8 of that contract. We're just being brought in as a party to the agreement. This doesn't require anything other than if we saw people tagging a private property, public property, we would take reasonable steps necessary to arrest those people. So it's rather mundane. It's just we want to make sure this didn't get stuck in a quagmire and moving forward. So this will allow for the permanent noise installation monitor at Mohawk Park.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second?
There being a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? May I have a roll call, please?
Trustee O'Connell.
Yes.
Trustee Wessler.
Yes.
Trustee Majeski.
Yes.
Trustee Carmona.
Yes.
Trustee Jaworska.
Yes.
And Trustee DeSimone.
Yes.
At 6, the motion carries.
Mr. Summers, please provide the background on the resolution appropriating the non-participating funds in the amount of $35,000 associated with the federally funded Church Road LAFO CMAO project.
This is another one of those projects where we are just need to get the project moving again. So I'll let Joe explain the background, how we got here, and what steps we're going to take to keep it moving.
Yeah, so if you recall, back in December of 15, we entered into an intergovernmental agreement with the Park District. Basically, the agreement said that the village would put in a fence along the entire western side of the White Pines Golf Course in lieu of a donation of some permanent easement and land necessary to construct a bike path along Church Road between Grand and Jefferson. As we were trying to put forth that application, there was some of the fence that was actually outside of the right-of-way. We were hoping that IDOT would be able to pay for that pay for that out of the grant funding, a 70-30 split on the bike path. Unfortunately, IDOT will not do that, and in order for us to continue on this project and to have that fence installed as per agreement with the Park District, IDOT has said they will allow the contractor on the project to put this fence in if the village would approve the non-participating funding resolution, which is before you. So basically, IDOT wants commitment from the board that we will pay for a portion of this fence that is not covered under the grant, and they would accept a resolution as a kind of a commitment. They've been burned in the past by other communities that said, yeah, we'll do non-participating, and they never paid them. So this gives them a little bit of backing to kind of make sure the village is going to pay for this. Staff is in favor of this. We've sat down with the Park District and their staff and worked through all the arrangements. There's a section of fence that we're not going to put in that we agreed to that was more of an aesthetic fence. But in the breadth of the IGA, we believe that providing a continuous fence from Jefferson all the way to the southern limits of the golf course is what we intended to do, and that's what we want to follow through with. So the component of the fence that's outside the right-of-way is about $33,000. So we're asking for $35,000 in this resolution just in case we have some in-field requirements that we don't anticipate.
Joe, assuming this is approved tonight, can you give a timeline of when the Church Road project will begin again and when it should be completed by?
Yep, we have already talked to the contractor. They are ready to go. So the fence guy is kind of waiting for the approval here to start installing the fence. We've already talked to IDOT. They know that this is on the agenda tonight, and pending the approval, they've already given us the pre-approval to move forward with the construction. Where we have 25 days left on this, 25 working days left on the contract. We anticipate over the next couple of weeks, probably by the end of April, they will have all the fence installed. They'll follow that right behind with the installation of the bike path, which would take another probably 2 weeks. And then the last 2 weeks will be the removal and the replacement of the pavement along Church Road. So we're looking towards the end of May, early June completion at this point, and we're hoping that weather cooperates. Part of this work is being done in some wet areas, some low spots of the golf course. So that's our only concern right now is if we get a lot of wet weather, that could still, kind of push us back a little bit. But right now we're looking at an end of May, early June completion of this project.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Karachi?
Yes.
So, go ahead.
Call for a motion first.
Oh, I apologize. Yes, sir.
Is there a motion to approve this resolution?
Yes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
There being a first and a second, do we have discussion?
Yes.
So, we already have a fence along the whole White Pines portion of the property. Are we now gonna have two fences? We're gonna have the White Pines fence and then a second fence that will be next to it?
No, the fence was removed as part of the construction already. There's some temporary fence that's currently up. So it's the replacement of the original fence. We had to go further back into the property to allow space for the bike path. And that was land and easement that was granted to us and donated
Okay,
to us
so
by the park
there'll only be
district.
one fence along the golf course?
Only gonna be one fence, yes. What you see there now is just a temporary fence.
And then the homeowners that are south of the golf course, they're all on board with this fence that is currently not there, but they're all okay with having a fence in their front yard?
Define south of the golf course. Are you talking along Church Road, those three houses? Those are actually Park District owned property and the fence will be going behind those properties?
Well, there's, not all three houses are owned by the Park District.
Talking about the three homes past the churches.
Oh, the fence is not going that far.
It's not gonna go that
Yeah,
far.
we're just
You
covering,
said well, maybe I misunderstood, because I thought you said the fence is going all the way to Grand Avenue.
no, the fence is going along the golf course property.
Right.
Jefferson
Okay.
Golf Course.
So where the golf course ends, then it's gonna turn and hit the existing fence along the south side of the golf course. So no, it's not gonna go past those three homes immediately south of their maintenance yard.
Thank you.
Just one question, Joe. This 35,000 is not to exceed 35?
That's what we have in there as a not to exceed at this point, yes. We don't anticipate it going over $33,000, but again, if there's an extra post that has to get put in or a gate needs to be adjusted, that's why we're just asking for a couple extra thousand in there, so.
You just need some wiggle room. I understand. All right.
Any other questions? Can I have a
Seeing
roll
none.
call, please?
Trustee O'Connell.
Yes.
Trustee Wessler.
Yes.
Trustee Majeski.
Yes.
Trustee Carmona.
Yes.
Trustee Jaworska.
Yes.
And Trustee DeSimone.
Yes.
That's 6, the motion carries.
We now move to the village attorney's report. Ms. Dixon, do you have anything to report this evening?
If you don't mind, sir, I do have a couple more items that I'd like to, announcements that I'd like to make. The Bentonville Community Foundation is participating in the Human Race, which is a DuPage County-wide fundraiser for the foundation. There's information on our website on how to sponsor that. A lot of community organizations are getting behind the foundation and focusing the resources there. On April 30th, we should be going back into the second round of the Fly Quiet rotations at O'Hare. This is phase 2 of what we hope to be a 3-phase test process with final adoption sometime in 2018. The public work, you guys will see Public Works out in the near future installing new parkway trees. 60 trees of 16 different varieties will be installed, right? Is that correct, Joe? 10, got a little egregious. 10 different varieties being installed throughout town. And finally, May 9th is the swearing in of the new board. I want to remind the board that the current board will be calling that meeting to order to allow for the new board to be sat. So we look forward to having everyone here for that. And that is all I have regarding the rest of my unscripted report.
Thank you.
Back to you, President-elect.
May I ask a question? please?
Sure, go ahead.
All right. Today, the public safety had a active shooter exercise.
Training, yes.
Yes. Is it premature to ask for comments? Was it successful? Was it a learning process?
That was run by Deputy Chief Dooley and Deputy Chief Lustro, and I haven't had the opportunity to talk to them since that, so I don't have an answer for you. I can bring it up next meeting, or at the committee next week.
Thank you, sir.
Ms. Dixon, do you have anything to report?
No, I don't this evening, thank you.
Is there any unfinished business to come to the board tonight?
We have none?
Is there any new business to come before the board tonight?
Seeing none.
Is there a need for an executive session?
No, sir.
No, sir.
There being no further business to come before the board, is there a motion to adjourn?
You have a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.